Hi, everyone. I'm Master Coach Gretchen Hydo and the author of the book, Break Free from Your Dirty Little Secrets, A New You in 10 Secret Breaking Stages. And today I want to talk to you about what it means to be a maverick and the maverick of your own life. As a master coach, I've worked with hundreds of people and have found that what we all have in common is that we take on the expectations and needs of others and often prioritize what we think we should be doing or the way we think we should think about ourselves over our own instincts, wants, and desires. Does that sound familiar? Anyone relate? You might be wondering what this has to do with being a maverick and asking yourself, what the heck is a maverick anyway? So here's the deal. A maverick is an independent individual who thinks and acts in ways that are different from the expected or usual way. Let that sink in. I want to emphasize that a maverick is someone who is leaving the expected behind. Think about your own life. Where do you live the expected? Think about what you might do if you lived in an unexpected way. We're going to take a little sneak peek at that today, and we're going to look at how you can leave the expected little by little and start taking a look at how you can discover and see all of the personality traits, rules, and labels that you have taken on that really don't fit, but that keep you living in expected ways. You've used some of them as coping mechanisms to feel valued, seen, heard, and liked. But today we're going to start to look at how can you become the real you? What do you need to let go of? And when you think of that, it means that you'd be leaving the expected. So right now, think of the way that you live. What do you do already that you know is a part of your routines and actions? And it's a part of your thinking. Maybe it's something like you get up, you get ready for work, you get the kids out the door. Maybe it has to do with the way that you think about yourself. Maybe it has to do with the wants that you have, the desires, the storyline that you say to yourself of why you can't have that. Anytime you try to do something different, you get pushed back into the expected way because anything else just feels too hard. Maybe you're trying to gain more time for yourself, but it feels impossible. Maybe you'd like to think about yourself differently, but then a thought comes up to reestablish the reason that you have the negative thought in the first place. Maybe you've got, a big goal, dream, or desire that you want, but your expected thinking tells you that you can't have it. Let's test it for a moment. So think about this. What's a big goal, dream, or desire that you have? Maybe it's writing a book. Maybe it's being an actor. Maybe it's starting your own business. Maybe it's running a 5K. Whatever it is, just think of what that might be. Now, what is the first thought that comes up for the reason that you can't do it or that you haven't? What does your mind say? I don't have enough time. I don't know enough. I'm not good enough. I can't do that. When the kids are older, I don't have enough money. What's the story of lack? Because there's always a story of lack. And here's the thing. Your mind is actually being good to you. It's protecting you and keeping you safe, but at the same time, it's also keeping you from being your highest self. And so a maverick is someone who hears what the mind says and says, yep, I know that that's the expected way, but I'm going to do something else. And they go for it. And so when you have a thought and it's like, all right, I want to, let's just use write a book. I want to write a book. And the mind says, well, you don't have enough time. You can do this exercise. And what it is asking yourself, what could I believe instead? And so instead of not having enough time, it could be, well, I believe that I do have time, just not a lot. Okay, so if I believe that I did have time, but just not a lot, what else could I believe? Well, I could believe that I have 2 hours on Saturdays. Well, if you believed you had 2 hours on Saturdays, what else could you believe? Well, I could believe that I could do it during that 2 hours on Saturdays. Okay. Then the next part of the exercise is coming up with, well, what could you do if you believe that? So if I believe that I had 2 hours on Saturday, what action might I take? Well, I might outline the book. What else could you do? I might get a writing coach. What else could you do? I might sit down every Saturday for that 2 hours and make sure that I don't put plans on top of it. And that's how we get out of the expected ways of being and becoming a maverick. So the next time you slip into your routine behavior or your old thought patterns, take a moment and do this exercise. You're going to see that you might just be a maverick after all.